Cosmic horror is a horror subgenre popularized, though not invented, by US-American author HP Lovecraft. Concerned with the unknowable mysticism of the universe, cosmic horror is rooted not in a rational fear of murderers or the wealthy's ability to get away with anything, but an existential fear. Though I contest he didn't invent it, Lovecraft did give a pretty succinct explanation of cosmic horror. Quote, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." End quote. So, obviously, the Cthulhu mythos and similar Lovecraft stories are the most well-known examples of cosmic horror, to the point that cosmic horror and Lovecraftian horror are synonyms. But precursors involving similar themes include stories as far back as ancient times, and I would argue that there are parts of the Epic of Gilgamesh that you could even classify as cosmic horror. Now, if you've never read cosmic horror literature, there's a good chance that you've watched a cosmic horror film, or a television show, or maybe played a cosmic horror video game. In fact, cosmic horror has so many fans in certain nerd communities that there are actually quite a few examples of non-horror games using Lovecraft-inspired or otherwise cosmic horrors for dressing and background. And today I'm hoping to highlight my favorite example of cosmic horror in video games, that which is seen in the Kirby series. Now, if you've only got a passing knowledge of Kirby through cultural osmosis, as some people call it, or maybe through their appearances in Super Smash Bros., you might be surprised. Aren't they a cute puffball that loves food and makes friends with everybody they can? Well, yes, but the series has villains like this, and this, and this, and this. But of course, true cosmic horror is not just about aesthetics, it's about themes. And does the Kirby series manage to nail the themes of cosmic horror? Well, first we should define what themes make cosmic horror different from other types of horror. Now, obviously, Wikipedia is not a scholarly resource, but it can work really well when trying to get a general idea of a concept that lots of people have. The Wikipedia page in English for cosmic or Lovecraftian horror lists 7 common traits identified with the genre. They are 1. Fear of the unknown and unknowable. 2. The fear and awe we feel when confronted by phenomena beyond our comprehension, whose scope extends beyond the narrow field of human affairs and boasts of cosmic significance. 3. A contemplation of mankind's place in the vast, comfortlit universe revealed by modern science. 4. A naturalistic fusion of horror and science fiction in which the presumptions about the nature of reality are eroded. 5. That technological and social progress since classical times has facilitated the repression of an awareness of the magnitude and malignity of the macrocosm in which the human microcosm is contained. 6. Having protagonists who are helpless in the face of unfathomable and inescapable powers, which reduces humans from a privileged position to insignificance and incompetence. And 7. Preoccupation with visceral textures, protean, semi-gelatinous substances, and slime, as opposed to other horror elements such as blood, bones, and corpses. End quote. So let's go one by one and see if Kirby fits the bill here. Obviously, the use of visceral, protean, slimy textures over blood and bones is there. Compare Fectophorgus, Dark Cloud, and the Klaken, and the like to the typical eldritch horrors that you see in this genre. The series has never been rated above E10 and up here in the United States, so I doubt they could use much blood and gore even if they wanted to do so. We can also say that the presumptions about the nature of reality are well within the category of eroded. Physics are usually self-contained. Obviously, certain licenses are common within video games, but even established rules about Kirby physics are semi-regularly broken. Time is at the whim of the more powerful entities. Space is subject to change. Light, color, can easily be absorbed, and the limit of size and energy you'd expect living things to obey is non-existent. But really, those are more aesthetic than they are thematic. Is there a fear of the unknown and the unknowable in Kirby? Absolutely. The character Nightmare is a source of fear and despair with no explained origin. Dark matter torments nations for becoming too happy and friendly and warps their minds out of jealousy. Zero is an outer space entity attacking those that dare approach it. Fectophorgo, a mysterious alien lifeform, subtly psychically influences the minds of its victims while it sleeps, so that when it awakens, it can consume them all without resistance. And the scope of these villains are definitely beyond Kirby and his friends, not just in terms of size like Void Termina or age like Landia, but in terms of motives and thoughts as well. Dark Crafter wants to steal color from the world. Drachia wants to convert everything into a painting. Dark Mind wants to corrupt everybody that it can. Why? It's unknowable, but these figures subjugate beings with less power with no concern for their wishes or lives. As for technology numbing us to the malignity of the macrocosm, it's a pursuit of technological advancement for personal reasons that leads President Haltman to redesign an ancient robot from a doomed civilization that ultimately becomes an omnicidal murder machine and abducts and drains his body. It's a pursuit of miraculous alien power that drives Leon to abduct innocents to power the extraterrestrial horror that eventually subsumes his body and tears his soul across the astral plane. It's a pursuit of mechanical superiority that turns Marx into an undead abomination. And those that do reach this technological level are often left facing the appalling truth of their own insignificance, such as when the three mage sisters beg for help from the priest that saved their lives, only to find him so corrupted by void termina he instead steals their life force from them to sacrifice to the destroyer of worlds. However, Kirby does not fit the bill of having a protagonist that is helpless to face the threats of the universe. Far from it. And in that way, this is not really a cosmic horror protagonist. But that's actually exactly why I think the Kirby franchise nails cosmic horror in a way few other things do. It manages to have broad appeal. Cosmic horror is typically not the most popular genre among children. Amazingly, guardians don't always want their kids to watch something that tells them that they're insignificant in the universe, and nothing they do will change that. At least most guardians. However, with Kirby, you get the despair of cosmic horror without it being overwhelming. Kirby does get scared, Kirby gets worried and sad, but Kirby is such a perfect children's character because they feel these emotions but are not defined by them. Kirby's determination, even in the face of eldritch entities, may seem antithetical to the genre, but the genre's motifs read so much stronger in these games, at least in my opinion, because they're contrasted with Kirby's dedication to benevolent traits like friendship, forgiveness, love, and optimism. It's not an adult thing to recognize that the universe is big, and it's not a necessarily cynical thing either, to recognize that we, as humans, are ultimately insignificant. However, just because we are insignificant doesn't mean that we can't put all of our efforts into things like friendship and goodness. That's a place where I think Kirby disagrees with Lovecraft, and I think that the Kirby series is all the stronger for it. A lot of cosmic horror can hit that emotional note for me when things feel horrible, but Kirby is able to hit the note where things feel horrible, and they are, but it's worth it to keep going anyways. And for that reason, though the series is not a cosmic horror itself, I think it uses cosmic horror incredibly well, and I would recommend it if you haven't tried it out.